Picture being 240 feet underground in a coal mine in central PA. While drilling into the wall of rock, you hear a sound you've never heard before, but instantly, you know exactly what it is. You have just seconds before a tidal wave of epic proportions rushes in. This is the breakdown of the Quecreek mining disaster. On July 24, 2002, a group of miners arrived at the Quecreek Mine in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. The Quecreek Mine was only 2 years old and stretches over 2.5 kilometers or 8,000 feet underground. It was owned by Black Wolf Coal Company. It is one of the 9 mines in Somerset County and produces over 2 million tons of coal a year. Little did they know the disaster that was about to take place. Somerset County has been at the forefront of coal mining for decades. At this time, terrain mapping was not as advanced as it is today. The team had to rely on old maps of the area and work with estimations. Due to the large number of mines in the area, some were not marked properly. This little error would have grave repercussions. Research showed that the Quecreek mine was neighbored by Saxman coal mine. Saxman had been abandoned nearly 40 years earlier, and 250 million liters of water had gathered over that time. The team was not worried as the distance between Quecreek and Saxman should have been 300 feet. Regulations stated that mines had to be 200 feet apart. This was a safe bet. Little did anyone know of the horrors awaiting them ahead. As usual, 18 miners reported for duty. They saw from the roster where they would be working. After chatting and gearing up, 18 miners got into carriers. These would transport them 240 feet into the ground. The deeper they went, the darker it became. It was a 40-minute drive to the shafts. The shaft is made up of a series of tunnels. 100 pounds in, the shaft split into 2, same as the miners. 9 of them proceeded down in the 2 left panel, while the other 9 went up to the 1 left panel. Work commenced, and each team started mining coal. According to the maps, there should have been around 91 miles of coal separating the mines. There was an extended portion of the Saxman mine that was undocumented. Speculations are that this part was mined in the last months before Saxman was abandoned. However, this little portion meant that Saxman mine was only a couple of meters away. If they got too close, a wall of water would explode through. At around 9 p.m. on Wednesday, July 24, 2002, miners in 1 left panel were working. Suddenly, one of them heard a thundering sound. Water breached the tunnel, and it rushed inside Quecreek Mine with a thunderous boom. Luckily, the miners in the 1 left panel held on to several chambers around the tunnels. They could only watch as torrents of water rushed in. The over 250 million liters of stagnant water came rushing into the mine, flooding the tunnels. Fast, 1 left miners realized that the water was heading toward the deepest part of the mine. This is the 2 left panel. The miners used a telephone to warn the 2 left panel miners of the impending danger. The miners in 2 left responded to the message instantly. They jumped on their carriers to rush all the way back to the mine's entrance. However, they found that water had already reached the intersection. This meant that their way out was blocked. As luck might have it, the men remembered that there was a ventilation shaft. It was not yet flooded, so they crawled the remaining kilometer out. They managed to get out of the mine in time. Their joy was short-lived, as they realized that the other 9 miners were still trapped inside the mine, trapped in a mine shaft that was rapidly filling with water. Rescue plans started being made, with time being of the essence. Deep below, the 9 miners could see the water rising. With it, their hope of getting rescued dwindled. It was determined that the first thing to do was to check whether this would be a rescue or a recovery mission. The first step in the mine rescue was to get air to the trapped miners. Bob Long worked as an engineer technician for Civil Mining Environmental Engineering. He helped with this. They used GPS to measure. They needed the exact location of the miners. They started drilling a 6.5-inch wide hole at 2 a.m. The goal was to pump air into the part of the mine where the miners were thought to be. A team of 4 began drilling at 3:15 a.m. By cracking through 240 feet of rock, they reached the mine shaft just 1 hour and 45 minutes later. Finally, at 5:06 a.m. on July 25, after 8 hours of work, the hole reached the mine. The air compressor pushed air inside, and tests showed that the air quality was okay. Rescue workers then tapped on the pipe, hoping for a response. The miners had huddled together to conserve body heat. Due to the rising water levels, the air in the mine was diminishing. There was a chance that the miners could suffocate. The miners knew that they were in a dangerous situation. They decided to build a barrier hoping that it would keep the water away. The barrier was made of stone slabs. Suddenly, they heard a sound coming from somewhere. The drill broke through, bringing in a fresh burst of air. This was quite a relief to the miners, as breathing was much easier. Above ground, one of the rescue team members heard some tapping coming from the mine. All the machinery in the area was shut off. This helped the rescue team receive 3 strong bangs in response at 5:12 a.m. Later, at 11:40 a.m., they got 9 taps back. There was cheer going around as the rescue team became hopeful. However, this hope quickly melted away. Reality sank in, and the rescue team struggled with an impossible decision. Unless something was done fast, the men would lose their lives, either to drowning or suffocation. On a positive note, the miners' exact position was known so rescue efforts could begin. They had to drill a hole large enough to fit in the rescue capsule. Despite there being so many drills in the area, none was big enough for the task. At this time, Pennsylvania State Police were guarding the site. They had informed the miners' families of the situation and would be giving updates soon. News reporters also stormed the area, giving the story worldwide attention. While that was happening, calls were being made all over the world. The hope was to find a drill that could raise the trapped men from the mine. Fortunately, a drill was found in Clarksburg, West Virginia. The owners were more than happy to help. The drill was escorted to Quecreek Mine by police vehicles. It was estimated that the water levels were rising by 7 meters every hour. By Thursday morning, the water had reached the entrances, completely covering them. The rescue teams decided to turn on the drilling compressor, as this would provide fresh air to the men. As this was happening, other rescue teams were battling the water flooding the mine. They relentlessly pumped out water, even though they did not see any fruits of their efforts. In the mine shaft, the miners continued retreating further back, as water continued to fill in. They believed that they had an hour left to live. The miners found a bucket floating away and grabbed it. They started writing farewell letters to their families. They all believed that they would never get out of the mine alive. The super drill had arrived and started drilling Rescue Shaft 1. The miners could hear it, and they knew that something was being done to help them. On Friday, at 1:50 p.m., disaster struck. The drill stopped. The drill had reached 105 feet when a drill bit broke. A piece of the drill bit got stuck in the hole, so a special tool had to be made to get it out. Normally, this would take several days. Luckily, a large machine shop in Big Run, Jefferson County, managed to make the tool in just 3 hours. A National Guard helicopter brought the tool. The bit was finally retrieved from rescue hole number 1 at 4:09 p.m. on July 26th. The drilling equipment problem caused an 18-hour delay. The miners were worried, but Foley, one of the rescue team, said they would start drilling again soon. The miners' families were briefed about the rescue efforts when they visited the mine. Governor Mark Schweiker visited the site that night. He said they were doing everything possible to save the miners. People from all over the world reached out with calls, emails, and prayers to support the rescue. At this point, there were 2 big worries. First, if the miners were rescued too quickly, water might rush in and drown them. Second, there was a risk of the miners getting sick. This was because the air pressure underground would be different from the surface. This is called decompression sickness. To get ready for these dangers, they made an airlock for the top of the escape shaft. Also, they brought in 10 portable chambers to help treat any sickness. Drilling went on until 1:38 p.m. on July 27th. Then they stopped to put in the airlock and lower the water level around the mine shaft. Drilling started again at 4:45 p.m., but at 8:11 p.m., there was a problem with the airlock, so they had to fix it. They finished repairing it at 8:58 p.m. and resumed drilling. By 10 p.m., the water level was at 1827.92 MSL. The drill finally broke through into the mine at 10:16 p.m. at a depth of 239.6 feet, which was lower than the mine's entrance. They were also drilling a second hole, just in case. By 7 a.m. on July 27th, it was 160 feet deep, but at 1:31 p.m., the drill broke at around 204 feet deep. They were fixing it when the first hole broke through, so they stopped drilling. After the rescue hole broke through into the mine, rescuers tapped on the drill steel with a hammer. They heard a faint response from the trapped miners. The miners took turns walking down the passageway every 10 or 15 minutes. This was to check where the drilling sounds were coming from. When Halleman and Foy made the trip on Saturday around 10:15 p.m., they found the drill opening and alerted the others. Right after the hole broke through, they shut down all equipment to check the air pressure. The pressure was the same inside and outside the mine, so they didn't need the airlock. They removed the drill steels and lowered a communication device into the hole. They confirmed that all 9 miners were alive, although the foreman had chest pains. The men had endured 7 hours in the mine. At 12:30 a.m. on July 28th, a steel mesh escape capsule was lowered into the hole. Foreman Randy Fogel was the first to be rescued, around 1 a.m. The other miners were brought up one by one, based on weight. By 2:45 a.m., all 9 miners were safely on the surface. These included Harry Blaine Mayhew, Jr., Thomas Tucker Foy, John Unger, John Philippi, Ron Heilman, Dennis J. Hall, Robert Pugh, Jr., and Mark Papernak. Fortunately, none of the miners got sick from the pressure change. They were taken to hospitals either by helicopter or ambulance. However, as they came out of the mine, they were soaked in cold water from an aquifer the drill shaft had gone through. The rescue team and all those at the site will never forget this incident. This is a time when a disaster became a miracle. The 9 people who were saved that day, a testament to what unity can achieve. A monument was erected in their honor. A portion of the dairy farmland was preserved. It is used as a park to celebrate the 18 lives saved. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.